Welcome to Wisdom for Health. The global lockdown to stop the spread of COVID-19 has plunged the world into a recession. More job losses and business closures are expected as Singapore's circuit breaker starts to ease in 3 phases after an 8-week lockdown. If you are a small business owner struggling to keep afloat, meet our 2 experts today. They can help you navigate the future with hope and confidence. Today, we have Tando and Adrian Choo as our guest advisors. Tando is a financial leader specializing in strategic finance and business. For 20 years, he managed the finances of MNCs in financial planning and analysis, controllership, and treasury. Adrian Choo is the CEO and founder of Career Agility International, a HR consulting firm that helps executives achieve career longevity and satisfaction. He's also a published author and a master career coach. Welcome to Wisdom for Health, Daniel and Adrian. Today, we have 6 small business owners who are struggling to keep their businesses afloat. Across different sectors, these scenarios are real and typical. Daniel and Adrian, I will present the scenarios and questions for your advice. Compared to last year, I'm only doing about 10 to 20% of sales now. I've retrenched some staff, starting with foreign workers. With the end of salary support from the government, I have to lay off more staff, Singaporeans. I also need to raise more funds to last me another 4 to 6 months to tide me over Christmas. I need about $200,000. What advice can you give me?
When the government allows F&B to reopen, there will be additional guidelines and measures that are required to be implemented. One example would be the safe distancing. Another would be additional hygiene and cleaning requirements. So these would either increase operational costs and or reduce revenue potential. You need to factor in all these considerations within your business forecast when you look at your P&L forecast. Now, let's move on to the cash flow needs. Government has already implemented a few possible options for SMEs, and depending on your needs, you may want to take up one of these. The first is the temporary bridging loan program for amounts of up to Sing$ 5 million. And this program ends on 31st March 2021. The good thing is that the interest rates currently for F&B industry is capped at 5%. There is possibility you may be able to borrow at lower rates if you have good track record with your bank. The second option is the Enterprise Financing Scheme program, which is essentially a working capital loan, and the quantum that is available for this one is up to $1 million. Basically, the quantum are what the government essentially is willing to guarantee the risk. For these 2 programs, government is underwriting up to 90%, so approval chance is quite high. And most banks, they will assess the risk and charge interest rates accordingly. So if you are interested to apply, just contact your bank directly. In addition, I would highly recommend for F&B industry that if you do not already have a e-commerce solution, you should consider to participate in this digital resilience bonus scheme. And this is being implemented by IMDA. Government is providing up to 10,000 Sing dollars in payouts under this.
So, Adrian, what is the HR response to this situation?
The cafe owner has to figure out whether or not how viable the business is moving forward, and what scale and what scope and what size they need to operate, and do the manpower planning accordingly. If they do not need that many staff, I'm afraid they might have to right size and they might have to let people go.
My wife and I started a small bistro 3 years ago that was doing well. We have just expanded our business with a second shop at the end of last year when COVID-19 hit. We decided to downsize to 1 shop again, but we have a rental agreement for the second shop. How do we terminate our rental agreement without suffering a huge loss?
Okay, as for cash flow needs, earlier on, I have already explained in the F&B scenario. So the same options are definitely open. On the job search front, I think right now the job market is very challenging. So it may take some time for the F&B owner to get another job. So in the meantime, there are some options to explore gig work. One example I like to cite is that a lot of people like to travel, right? And during your travel, you take many nice photos. So there are websites on which you can license your photos, and someone may want to use it in their ads or in their social media. And every time they use it, they will pay a fee. If you have a knack for writing, you can try writing a book. It doesn't have to be 200 pages. It can be simple 20, 30 pages. And you can publish it digitally for free on Amazon. Now, to help with job search, right, I would really recommend that if you have not done so, create a profile on LinkedIn. This is to help you raise your profile and also start branding yourself. There are government agencies who can help with job searches. One is the Ministry of Manpower. Another avenue for you as well is Skills Future. You can tap into this SG United Skills scheme, where Skills Future is basically paying a training allowance of 1,200 Sing dollars per month for the duration of a course that you sign up. To get more details, just go to the SG United Skills website and you can see how different training programs can also help.
Daniel and Adrian, this is scenario number 3 from a retail gift shop owner. I've been struggling with bad or almost zero business for 5 months now since February 2020. I've tried selling things online, but people are not buying non-essential stuff. Where can I borrow $50,000 cheaply to keep afloat?
Now, for cash flow needs, again, the options that are applicable to the F&B owners are also open for retail gift shop. Additionally, if you think about implementing digital solutions for your businesses, you can claim up to 10,000 Sing dollars of payout under the Digital Resilience Bonus Scheme.
Okay, so this is scenario number 4 from an event management company. We were doing superbly well last year. Then all our events were cancelled for the rest of the year. I believe a few events on a smaller scale may resume for Christmas if the government allows gatherings of 100 people, like what is happening in Australia now. I'm confident that after mid next year, larger events can take place and our business will improve. I need to conserve my financial resources now and raise capital for the big events that will come back next year. What do you advise?
The keyword here is to remain conservative in your business forecast. Whether large-scale events can take place by middle of next year is anybody's guess. In the absence of an effective COVID-19 vaccine or effective treatment, if there's any outbreak, what are the chances that large-scale events can continue even in a year's time? So even if you can continue, safe distancing could mean that your revenue potential is half. You need to account for this in your forecast. So I would recommend only making financial commitments when you are comfortable with certain level of certainty.
Adrian, this is a HR question from the CEO of the event management company. I also need to retain my key staff, but I cannot afford to pay their high salaries until the business can afford to. What do you advise?
So number one, you need to identify who exactly your key staff are in terms of who are necessary for operations. Number two, you should have a adult conversation with them to share with them the scenario that A, you may not have enough funds, B, it is difficult to continue payroll without revenues coming in, and C, you might have to cut the salaries even further.
Okay, this is scenario number 5, a happy problem from a healthcare product importer. I'm an importer of healthcare products. I'm importing more hand sanitizers, surgical masks, and selling care packs to various companies and hospitals. I have a cash flow problem because I have to pay 100% in advance to my overseas supplier to import the products in bulk and then sell to my customers with credit terms. However, because of lockdowns, the goods are taking longer than usual to arrive. Should I carry inventory risk by ordering more products now? What if I'm stuck with unsold stocks later and may suffer losses? Would the banks give me some slack?
First of all, from a cash flow perspective, I highly recommend that you sell your products either on a pre-order or prepayment basis. Usually, if you are selling to end customer, then pre-order basis, that means you require them to pay upfront. I think it's always wise to minimize at any time, especially now because times are so uncertain and volatile. Here's the situation why I think that you should minimize. You probably ordered your earlier batch at quite high price due to supply chain shocks in many countries, especially if you're sourcing from China. So now a lot of factories are ramping up their production, and all these prices would start to stabilize or even come down. So placing your orders a little bit later actually may help you to secure a lower price. So why not drive more prepayments, improve your cash flow in the process?
Adrian, this is a question for you. How can I employ good sales staff for the next 3 to 6 months that won't cost me an arm and a leg in headhunting fees? Are there firms out there who can deploy staff who are on PCP, Professional Conversion Program, to me?
If you want to employ or look for talent without paying headhunting fees, it's always possible. You can tap into your network of friends, connections, business associates, and ask them whether or not they know of any good salespeople whom they can recommend to you. But if you want to look for other good talents, you can also go to WSG or E2I. They have a very deep pool of qualified salespeople there who might have just gotten retrenched. So they will be happy to take a role with you. If you're worried about the longevity of the role, maybe you only need the person for 6 months or 9 months or a year, then you could, instead of permanent contract, you could talk to the person and work on it as a 6 month, 9 month, or 12-month contract, which can be renewed based on performance.
Scenario number 6 from a bicycle repair shop owner. I own a bicycle repair shop. Due to the circuit breaker, I'm forced to close shop for 8 weeks and more. Meanwhile, I have to pay rent for my shop. I'm running out of savings very soon. Where can I get cheap bridging loans to last me for the next few months? I've spoken to my bank and they said that my credit rating is not ideal due to some bounce checks in the past and small loans I took out with a licensed money lender earlier. My landlord is supposed to pass on his property rebates to me in the form of rental reduction. How do I know how much he's supposed to pass to me?
For bridging loan requirements, it's good news that government has implemented a temporary bridging loan program. So even though your payment track record and some of your other financial commitments are less than ideal, I think it is important for you to go to your bank and apply to take part in this scheme specifically. As far as rental relief is concerned, because if you look at the table, you are a shop. That means you are a qualifying commercial property shop. So the applicable amount is in the middle column. Actually eligible for up to 4 months relief of rent. If you are not getting this, then raise it with the landlord to delay rental payments until after 19 October 2020. Basically, you need to serve notice to the landlord.
In conclusion, I just want to share this suggestion with owners of small businesses. If you have not borrowed money from banks before and you're busy fighting fires, trying to keep your business going, consider engaging a trustworthy financial consultant to help you raise funds and liaise with the banks. Daniel and Adrian, thank you for joining our program and for your advice.
Thank you for having me, Cheryl. Bye-bye.
This is Wisdom for Health signing off. Stay safe, stay healthy.